All right. So our speaker today is a passionate second-year internal medicine resident at North Central Bronx Hospital, where he serves as the resident representative for the committee.
What's it called? Daylight saving thing. It's making.
Please mute yourself, guys. Please mute yourself. Let's see. I think I just muted all. All right, sorry guys, I'm going to start all over again. Excuse me. Okay. All right, so our speaker today is a passionate second-year internal medicine resident at North Central Bronx Hospital, where he serves as the resident representative for the Committee of Interns and Residents, CIR. He earned his MBBS from Nnamdi Azikiwe University College of Medicine in 2018. He gained over 5 years of a diverse clinical experience in Nigeria before moving to the United States for his residency, a journey that deepened his commitment to addressing global health disparities. Driven by this passion, he has volunteered in multiple health outreaches, including the AMPA Annual Medical Mission, and he currently serves as the Public Relations Officer for the AMPA Residents and Fellows Subcommittee. He was honored with the Excellent Community Service Award at the AMPA Annual Christmas Gala for his leadership and dedication to service. With a strong interest in cardiovascular medicine, he aspires to pursue a cardiology fellowship that focuses on advancing cardiovascular health and promoting equitable care. As a dedicated mentor, he has guided over 100 medical students and international graduates in preparing for the USMLE and residency. Beyond medicine, he is a lifelong soccer enthusiast and former director of sports, a role that has strengthened his leadership and teamwork skills. In his free time, he enjoys soccer, cooking, swimming, gaming, especially the FIFA game, and spending time with his family and friends. Ladies and gentlemen, help me to join me in welcoming Dr. Ezerioha Pascal to the floor.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Good evening and good night, depending on where you are. Wale, I saw the face you made when you mentioned cooking. It seems you don't believe that guys should know how to cook.
I mean, it's one of my hobbies.
Oh, okay.
It was a face of, I see someone that likes to cook like me too.
I also saw that at Waniki's profile, and I was like, okay, since I love cooking too, I'm gonna add this one. So hello everyone. I'm excited to be in your midst. I am also I once benefited from this groups like this, from Joey's groups, and trust me, I will be applying for fellowship, and I will still benefit from this group. I want to first of all thank the hosts and the management of this Joey's group for what they are doing. I want to especially thank Joey for coming up with this initiative to reach IMJs. I don't think he stands to gain anything from it, but because I understand the way he was, reminding me of this meeting, sending me messages, and sometimes takes me time to reply, but yet he did never stop to ensure that there's always someone here to talk to us. So I want to thank him especially, and I want to ask for his forgiveness for, delaying replying some of his messages. So I don't know how, I'm not sure. What if we turn on our videos if that is not too much to ask for? So at least I can see the faces of the people I'm, having this section with. Yeah, so please just turn on your videos. Great. Thank you, David. So I have
I think we probably lost him. Hopefully we'll join back again.
Well, I've gone off. Maybe I'm the one that costed, so I've switched off my video. So hopefully I don't want to jinx anything, so I'm off. So when he comes in, I'm not going to switch off my video just in case. Yeah.
Why do you think you're the one? I don't think you're the one, David. Yeah, that's okay.
I think I'm speaking next week, by the way, so that's fine.
You're what?
I'm speaking next week. I'm going to be speaking next week. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Are you guys in the same location? You and
You can't be further away from the Midwest. I'm in the Midwest. It's in the Northeast. Yeah.
Okay. I'm just asking when you said you're probably the one. Let me see if I can message him, see what's going on. Sorry, guys, we just lost our speaker. Well, it's our speaker lost his connection.
When you say we lost the speaker, he's not dead, right?
No. I meant our speaker lost his connection. Sorry. Technology fails when you least expect it. 1 second, let me try and reach him.
Hey, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, yes. I was just trying to reach you.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm sorry about that. I think my laptop hung or something. Yeah. So I was saying, I don't know what you heard last, but I was saying that I want to thank Joey for this initiative, for making sure that, IMGs have a platform to gain knowledge and information, and of course, some form of mentorship, which is not paid. I don't think he stands to gain anything from this, but to personally gain anything from this, but for also making sure that there's always someone here to talk to us every week. For pushing, I know he sent me messages multiple times, and I also want to apologize for replying those messages late. Okay, so my Oga at the top, I'm sure you're here. I want to apologize and thank you for what you're doing.
How are you? Sorry, I don't know if you can hear me, but I just wanted to quickly show face. I came to one Owambe for one of my mentors in Tennessee, in Johnson City, Tennessee. So I'm gonna be running, but I just wanted to show face to really thank you for taking time out. Man, you're looking like a baller here. Not sure whether
Um,
you're like a baller here. So,
I don't look like what I look on suits.
okay. That's
So,
good. That's really interesting. Excellent. Yeah. So I
yeah.
just wanted to personally thank you for, so your CV was really hot, red hot, man, or spicy hot.
I apologize. I apologize.
Oh, no problem at all. And I think there's a lady that reached out to me about interviewing your program. I think I gave her the number, but I'm not sure if she already reached out. But thank you so much for all the good work you do, and then the mentoring and creating time out of no time, literally.
That's fine. I should be thanking you. And I'll be meeting you later because I'll be applying for fellowship. So I'll be in your DM. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, guys. So basically, I didn't prepare a PowerPoint. What I'll be talking on today, it's just my own experience. So I don't think I need a PowerPoint to talk about my experience. However, I've been tasked with I've been given the task to emphasize on certain things. I know you must have heard this couple of times. So I will just be re-emphasizing on it. First of all, I'll be sharing my own story. I'll be starting with my own story. So my name is Pascal. I finished in 2018 from Nnamdi Azikiwe University, and afterwards I knew I wanted to do the USMLE, but I didn't really reach out to a lot of mentors. Okay, I didn't reach out to anyone. I just had it at the back of my mind that hey, I don't want to write PLAB. I want the USMLE. I want the US pathway. But I had an issue then. My biggest problem then was finance. I knew it was going to cost about 8 million then, and 8 to 9 million. I mean, then was about 2021. So what I did was that I thought that, okay, if I gain surgical skills in Nigeria, I will be able to, go from hospital to hospital and do some surgery, gather money to write the exams. But then, unfortunately, fortunately, I was able to gather some money, and unfortunately for me also, I invested that money in cryptocurrency, and everything disappeared. Right. That was when I started, looking out for sponsorship, and I was introduced to this program in Enugu State that provided and still provides till date sponsorship for prospective residents, US residents. And I wrote the exam. While I was there writing while I was there, I wrote the exams, and I was, introduced to the previous AMPA president. I don't know if you know her, whom I work for. I worked as her kind of assistant, and she became my mentor, and she recommended me to her program, and that was how I matched. Okay, now I have some regrets that I'm going to share while we'll continue this section. So I would love to make this section interactive. So you just feel free to stop me at any point if you have any question. Okay. So I was tasked with discussing what prospective residents should be doing at this point. So I want to believe that this is the point we are in the cycle currently is mainly interviews. So I want to congratulate those that have been able to secure some interviews. Um, it's not always easy as an IMG to get an interview. So no matter the amount of the number of interviews that you have, you've done well for yourself. Okay, congratulations. At the same time, if you don't have any interview or you've not gotten any yet, I also don't want you. I want to encourage you to not like give up. Um, it's never over until it is over. I guess that's what they used to say. You can get an interview at any point, and really, I know the more the number of interviews you have, the higher your chances. But at the same time, I know that at the end of the day, you just need one interview to let's see. You just need one interview. You just need one good program or one program to, you need recommendation for in one program, and you need one program to rank you to match. So if you've not gotten any interview, even at this point, please don't relax, don't give up. I know a couple of my friends who applied in November, and they applied late, they wrote the step 2 exam late, they applied late, and they were able to match the main match. And I also know people who also applied late. They didn't get any interview at all during the main interviews season, but during the soap they were able to secure an interview, and they were able to match. I also know people who got multiple interviews and didn't match. Okay. So you don't ever say, okay, because you don't have an interview now, the season is over for you. No, you just continue to reach out to people. If you're here, then you're in the right path, because this is the place to the whole thing. Actually, the way I see it is the way I see the whole residency match, residency application, fellowship application. It's as an IMG, it's mainly networking. People will say it's in Nigeria will say it's Imam Madu, right? That's now who you know. Also here they call it networking, but seriously, it's the same thing. It's now who you know, right? So continue to reach out to people, whether you have an interview now or not. continue to network, continue to talk to people. You don't know, somebody might just, somebody might just say, okay, let's take a look at this person's application, and then that way you get an interview. Okay. I also know someone who applied the first time. She didn't match, and she got like a couple of like or 3 interviews. She didn't match the first time. She applied the second time. She got 1 interview, and she matched. Okay, she matched, and today she's PGY 3 today, and she's like one of the best, if not the best, resident in the program. She's a chief. All right, so you don't know what would happen. I also know a friend. I have a friend who also I mean, if my friends are here, I'm sorry. Good thing is I'm not calling your name, so but I'm sharing your story because it's also part of my story. So I also know a friend who got about 5 to 7 interviews during the main cycle. He didn't match. He also did the soap thing. He didn't also match, and he didn't stop reaching out to people. All right, he didn't stop sending letters. He didn't stop linking up on LinkedIn. He didn't stop sending those short messages of Happy New Month and have a wonderful weekend and have a wonderful week. And somehow, even after the whole season has ended, and residents have resumed, we already resumed then. Someone who he sent a message to on LinkedIn, one lady like that, the program assistant program director, something like that. This happened around June. The season ended already. The residents, the incoming PGY ones were already, traveling, and everybody is, moving to the new to their programs and all of that. And they just called him to, somebody pulled out. I think somebody that matched was not able to, or somehow pulled out or something. And that was how the assistant program director called him to. And that was possible because he kept sending those messages on LinkedIn. Okay. So if at this point you've not gotten any interview, all right, this is for you. Don't relax, don't give up and say, no, the season has ended. I know that if you might have your friends who have gotten like 10 or 7, and everybody is saying hey, and then you've not even gotten one, and you might feel bad, but it's okay to feel bad, but don't relax, please. Don't just give up, okay? So the next thing I want to talk about is research, okay? I believe everybody here has applied or something. If you've not applied, or if you didn't apply this year, so what I'll be talking about is mainly for people that have applied and people who have not applied. So if you already applied, or if you have not applied, for some reason, maybe you just got your step 2, and you think that you're already late into the cycle. No, you're not, because when I was applying, I didn't know that you don't need step 2. Some programs don't require step 2 for you to apply, but so you can apply with just your step 1, and then later before the ranking season, you get your step 2. Okay, so if you've not written step 2, or you're planning to write step 2, you can always still apply. The best time to apply is whenever you're ready, whenever you have your step 1, and you have all those other things without your step 2, so you can apply. Now, I would like to talk about research. Okay, there's actually no 2 program in the US that are the same. Okay, there's no my program and the next program. Trust me, they are never the same. So you might be preparing for your interview now, and you might get, your mentors might tell you, you don't need a lot of research to apply. That is correct. Okay, but his or her own program might not need a lot of research to apply, but the next program might just need people who have only research. Okay, so I just want to emphasize the importance of research. Whether you're applying, whether you have plans to apply for fellowship in future, or whether you just want to apply for you already applied for residency now. Research is very important. So my own case is I didn't have a lot of research. I had about 2 or 3 research papers and abstracts that I already submitted. And I reached out to some persons and they were like, hey, you can apply to like big programs anywhere, just apply everywhere. That's correct. Okay. So I applied to very big programs like John Hopkins, and I also applied to, very, very big programs. And I mean, I wasn't surprised at the end of the day that, now I'm not surprised that I didn't get any interview then. So if you don't have research papers, please, you don't have to apply to you already applied. So this is I don't know how to come about this, right? So if you already applied, but if you're here and you have not applied and you don't have research papers, please just any way you want to do it. You can meet groups on LinkedIn, you can meet your friends who are anything they are publishing. If they are submitting abstract, they can add your name to it. If you could publish case studies, you could anything at all that is any research paper at all. Please just get your hands on the most numbers you can get your hands on. So me, I'll be applying for fellowship, and I don't have any research paper on cardiology now. Okay. And trust me, I have tried reaching out to multiple people on LinkedIn. I've reached out to more than 100 persons on LinkedIn, asking them for mentorship opportunities, research opportunities. Every single person I reached out to, some of them recommended Dr. What is this? There's this big guy. There's this big cardiology fellow currently in Joey's group. Most people said, "Have you reached out to him?" and all of that. I've sent him messages. He has not. He replied and all of that. So the point I'm trying to make is that you need research to apply to, especially um, academic programs. Okay, you need research to apply to. Dr. Endurance, thank you very much. Yeah, you need research to apply to very big programs like the academic programs. My own program is a community program. Okay, you don't need a lot of research, but if you have research skills and you already published some papers already, then you have an edge over someone who doesn't have any research skill or any published paper in the application. Remember, the idea of the whole thing is the whole application is having an edge over the next person. Now, you might think that you don't need a lot of research papers to apply to community programs. That might be correct, okay? But also remember that programs are in competition with one another, okay? Programs, you add value to a program when you publish papers, when you go for conferences, you publish papers, you win awards in those conferences. So if you have research skill, just publish as many papers as possible. Because for instance, my own program, they would rather pick somebody who has a PhD or who has a lot of research published on their application than you who don't even have any research skills. So whether you're applying for fellowship or you're applying for you're applying for residency, you need research. Okay. The other thing I was tasked to talk about is step 3. So my own program, they don't used to bother anybody about step 3. So whether you have step 3 or you don't have step 3, nobody really cared, right? But they recently noticed that these last people who graduated, that some of them wrote step 3 in their final year. All right. And even some of my classmates in PGY2 now, somebody wrote his step 3 and failed. All right. And it doesn't give the program a very wonderful image. All right. So now my program now says that you must pass your step 3 before you move to, you must pass your step 3 in PGY2 or before you promote or you move from PGY2 to PGY3. So I also know a program here in New York where you must, they consider they consider step 3 before they rank you. All right, they might give you an interview and all of that because maybe you get recommended by one of the residents and you get an interview. But before you get ranked, they consider step 3 a lot. So I also understand that securing a visa to write step 3 is usually difficult. But if you can in any way, by any means, travel to, come down to US to write your step 3, that gives you an edge. All right. Whether you're applying to community programs, whether you're applying to academic programs, if you can get your step 3, that is the best. Okay. That is the best. I've not written mine. I'll be writing mine soon, but step 3, it's very important. Okay. The please, if you have question at any point, just call my attention. All right. The next thing is the LORs and USC. So I don't know. I want to believe that people that are here already applied. I'm not. I don't think. I'm not sure if there's anybody here who has not applied. So this USC thing I was tasked to talk about. I'm not very sure about it now. Also the LORs. I'm not very sure if I should be talking about that. So the next thing is letter of interest. So when I was applying, I was told that some programs, the program directors have said, nobody should send letter of interest, nobody should send letter of intent, and all of that. I don't know about that. Okay. There's you lose nothing and you rather gain by sending letter of interest or sending all those letters. Okay. The program director might have 5,000 emails or 5,000 whatever letters or whatever to read. But so who says that he might not open your letter, or he might be in good mood and open your letter one day and decide, okay, this guy's application it's worth looking at, or he might be a very good addition to the program. And who also said that you might not he will get mad or he will get angry when he sees your letter. He already said nobody should send letter, and then you send one and he gets mad. Nobody has time to go, and I don't think program directors have time to go and pick up or start looking for your what is it called, your ID, to say, okay, this guy will make sure this guy, because he didn't obey. That's not true. Say send as much letters of whether interest, whether intent as possible. Okay. Because you don't know what might happen. They might say, okay, maybe we need one IMG, we need a Nigerian, and let me go through my email and see if there's any Nigerian there, and then boom, your letter pops up, and then you get an interview, and then you match. All right. Some programs will say, don't, if you send, I'll make sure. That's not true. Send as, in fact, I think for me, I think, okay, then me and my friends were saying that, okay, I submitted my application late because I didn't get my letters of recommendation were not complete when I submitted. Okay. And then we're like, okay, that yeah, we're saying whether we should submit or we shouldn't submit. And I know I submitted late. Now, what I should have done then was that I should have sent letters to every program I applied to, telling them that, hey, I am submitting without my complete letter of recommendation. And I will also, once I get the letter of recommendation, I'll upload it. I will also send the program's email and say, okay, hey, I've gotten my letters of recommendation and now I'm uploading it. So what I think it does is that it increases your visibility to whoever is seeing those letters, because Sometimes they might be like, okay, hey, I know this name, I know this person's name, I know, okay, I've seen this Pascal Ezerioha. What is it saying in this email? Okay, let me check again. Okay, I received email from this person again. What is it saying? Okay, let me take a look at his let me take a look at this guy's application. Okay. So whether a program says don't send letter of intent, don't send letter of appreciation letter, maybe after an interview, and they say don't send that. I mean, if you already have an interview and you interview at the program and they say don't send the letter of intent of appreciation, that's different. Okay. But if you've not gotten any interview from a program, I mean, and they say don't send the letter of interest. So what is the worst that could happen? Nothing, right? At the end of the day, you don't no, but you didn't even try at all to increase your visibility to the program director or the program coordinator, whoever is reading or whoever is issuing out the interviews. Okay, so if you've gotten interviews, fine. If you've not gotten interview, just keep bombarding the programs with emails. Just keep telling them that you're really interested in this program. That was how my friend got in. All right. That was how at the end of the day, he was able to, he got called up to, okay, just you can resume. Somebody pulled out. Okay. So you don't know what could happen. So whether letter of interest, what letter of intent, whichever, please send them. So then I think there's a question. I don't know if I should address the question or just continue.
Sorry. Do you want to address the question as you go?
Yeah. Let me address the questions as we go. I think that will, I might have other things to talk about, right?
Okay, this person says, thank you so much for this information. How many times can we send the LOI? And should we send only to the programs we signaled or all programs we apply to? Also, when contacting LinkedIn or something, should it be to only programs we signaled or all programs? I guess the person is saying when contacting people in LinkedIn, I believe.
Give me a minute.
Basically, should you be sending LOI to only signaled program or all programs that you apply to?
So that's a very important question. So if some people signaled my program gold, they give, I think somebody said gold signaled. So and my program director might not be the best person to read his emails and all of that. So one thing I want to say is that if you're sending any email to the program director and you have the email of the program coordinator, please copy the program coordinator, okay? Because see, these people are very busy people, right? The program coordinator, the program director, they are very, very busy. So copy the program coordinator. Now, don't just send emails to programs you signal. If you give a program gold signal, then send them personalized email. Okay. Remember, in your email, you should be telling them why you really signaled, why you gave them the gold signal. Okay. And so so don't just say, okay, because this program you didn't signal it. Remember, so what you need to match is actually just one program. You just need one very good interview to match. Okay. And at the end of the day, for IMGs, I don't know for any other person here, but my interest then when I applied was just to get into the US and start my residency. Okay. So there are people here who might be very, very ambitious and they are looking out for very, prominent programs like John Hopkins and all of that. I was interested in that, but I was like, let me just get into the US. And from there I can, whatever happens, happens. Okay. So to answer your question, please send letter of interest, letter of intent. Just keep sending those letters to all programs, okay? But you could send more personalized emails or letters to those programs you signal because there's a reason why you signal them, okay? Now, if you already have an interview, like I said, you can't get two programs that are the same here. So when you get an interview, try reaching out to someone in that program, okay, that you will be interviewing at, because it's important to know it's important to know what is peculiar with those programs, what is unique with those programs. So give you an instance. So last year, my program is a community program, and we're not very big on research, right? So I overheard the attendings discussing about a candidate he interviewed. All right. And according to him, I was his job, so so it's not like I was discussing with him. So according to him, he said he was asking, he asked the candidate, so why not Central Bronx? And the candidate said something like, the North Central Bronx is big on research. She was moved and she was whatever about research. And that is not true. All right. North Central Bronx, my program, is a community program. Yeah, I mean, we have a journal club, we have a research group, but it's not very big on research. It's not like programs like Monty or Jacobi. All right. So that is a lie. That means she didn't research the program at all. So when you have an interview, please make sure there is someone in that program who will guide you and tell you what to say and what not to say, because it's not everything you should be saying. Now, if you already have an interview in the program, yeah, you reach out to people in that program, like you reach out to residents, you reach out to, if there are fellows in the program, you reach out to attendings in the program too. But if you've not gotten an interview, please reach out to anybody. All right. Even if you have nursing, maybe nurse directors in a program and you think that they don't have influence, that's not true. All right. Reach out to the program director. Might not, some of them you might send 100 emails or 100 messages on LinkedIn to 100 program directors, and maybe 2 will reply. Okay. But the residents, reach out to the residents, reach out to anybody in that program at all. All right. The fellows, most people are not going to reply you. Most people, you just remember, at the end of the day, you just need one program to rank you and to match. Okay. Now, the question about okay, I think I answered. I don't know. I'm not sure if I answered your question, but let me know if I didn't answer the question. Okay.
The second question is asking about I think you answered the first question. Send it to everyone. You don't limit yourself to just program that you signaled. And for those that you signaled, you said send a personalized email to them.
Yeah.
Which that's everybody.
So like,
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. Tell me.
Second question is saying, who do you send the thank you messages to after the interviews? Is it the interviewers only or the PD?
So this is what the interviewers do. Okay. Well, you don't know who has an influence or not. You don't know who is friends with the program director or not. Okay. So I would say if you have the emails, so when I interviewed at I think Lincoln, I can't remember, they shared the emails of the interviewers. Okay. So if you have the emails of interviewers, you can send them thank appreciation messages or emails. And I mean, they already reviewed your application before the interview section, so there won't be need of like sending them your application. But at the end of the emails, you should always attach like your ID. Okay. What is the other question? Okay, yeah. So the program. So I kept sending the program director of Lincoln. I kept sending him emails. I sent him letter of interest. I sent him letter of intent. I sent him thank you email after the interview and all of that. And he kept replying. I don't know how he's able to reply all those emails, but I kept getting reply. I got multiple replies from him. And at the end of the interview, he told me that I signaled the program. So before the ranking, before the ranking, I also sent him like, hey, I'm ranking your program number 1 and all of that. And he said, oh, that's good. That he's looking forward to seeing me in July. So I was like, yeah, I already matched in Lincoln, and unfortunately I didn't match in Lincoln. So whatever reply you get, That's fine. Just keep sending those emails. Okay. You don't know what might happen. Somebody might, for some reason, pull out. And maybe they were not planning to rank you initially. And then he might just be like, okay, this person is pulling out, we need to replace. And he just goes to his email and, just, and you just rank and you match. Okay. So just send those emails, send those letters. I will be applying for cardiology next year. And I don't care who I'm reaching on LinkedIn. If once I see cardiology, I'm sending you a message. I'm trying to connect with you. I am sending you a message. You don't even need to be. I think I connected with someone who wasn't even a doctor. I just saw cardiology I saw cardiology. I think she's that's Tierra. She's the, I think, secretary of the African ABC, American, or I can't remember. Just, it's mainly Black cardiologist. I think Association of Black Cardiologists. Yeah, Association of Black. She's not a doctor, but I just saw cardiology whatever on her profile, and I sent her. So please, don't limit yourself to saying, okay, this person is not even a doctor, this person is a nurse, or this person is maybe you might even send a message to someone who is a member of management, maybe the PRO or something of the whole hospital, not even program, and those ones have even more influence than anybody in the program. Okay, so send just reach out to as many people as possible on LinkedIn. If you've gotten interviews, that's fine. Don't relax and say, okay, I have 7 interviews, so I don't need to, let me relax and focus on this one. No, still continue to reach out to people. If you don't have any interview, that is even the more reason why you should reach out to others. Okay. How many times can we send the letter of interest? I've sent follow-up letter of interest. Yeah, that's fine. If you signal a program and if you have someone in a program, because that's the idea of networking, right? If you apply to my program and you've not gotten an interview in my program and you signaled my program, I'm sorry, my PD might not be the best person to read. And he might be reading, he might not reply though, because I've sent him emails even as a resident and I've not gotten any reply. Yeah, you can send us. Nobody says if you send more than 2, you look like you look stupid. That's not true. All right. It's even better
somebody sent me a private chat. He said, can you ask if we can send LOI every week?
Please don't send LOI every week. I know that might sound, but it's okay if you send it, especially for programs you signal. Okay, let them know you signal them. You can send them once every 2 weeks, once every month. All right. Let them know, but please copy. Don't just send to the program director. Copy the program coordinator, because those ones they are the ones who send out the whole interviews, and they can remind the program director that, hey, there's this guy or there's this lady that I saw her profile, she sent you an email and something like that. Okay. Yeah.
Process, can you go straight to the program and request to see the program director?
So I wouldn't encourage that. I mean, because so how, number one is, how will you get it? So for instance, my program, you need like an ID. One day I went to the hospital, I forgot my ID at home, and I had to go to the police department there, to get say, okay, and they had to do that. I had to show them my ID card. I had to do all of that before I was able to even, I'm a resident already in the program. All right. So it might be difficult for you to get in. It's well, I don't know for other like I said, see, programs are very unique. All right. What is obtainable in my program might be nonsense in another program. You shouldn't even try it. Do you understand? So I might tell you, yes, you can go. I might tell you, no, you shouldn't. But another program, maybe some other program in maybe New Jersey or another place would say, you can always come in. All right. But what I would say is this:
if you want to meet the program director in a program, all right, send him an email. All right. Tell him that I really my own program, I don't know. I'm not I don't know. I will tell you from
This
my
your
own
program
experience.
sounds like an exception.
Yeah, so I would say that the best places, if you're in the US already, right? The best places to meet those program directors are if there are conferences, if there are picnics, if the program is hosting like for instance, this is November, and then you see a lot of association doing end of the year or organizing end of the year parties. If there are end of the year dinner and all of those, if there are graduation parties that are open, all right. If for instance there's meet and greet, like in-person meet and greet, and you shouldn't even be there at all because you didn't get an interview. You can go there, you can go for such events and meet the program directors, all right? But I don't think you can just walk into a program and demand to meet the program director. I am not very sure about that. I am not very
Can I
sure.
say something about that?
Yeah.
It depends on the program, I think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm talking from my personal experience.
Mm-hmm.
In New York, I think I think, I'm not sure. I think most New York programs, you can't even enter the hospital. You can't enter. Where I work right now, there's a hospital across from my workplace, right across. I went there on 3 different occasions with my work code and everything. Where I work as an hospital physician. It's right across from my nursing home. They didn't let me enter. So I went another day, maybe opened, I would say another security guy on 3 occasions. So I've been to a couple of hospitals. You can't enter. Meanwhile, in Michigan, I was able to go because I live in Michigan. In Michigan, I was able to go to some programs. Yeah, I didn't see the program director, but I saw the program coordinator. So it depends. New York programs, I doubt if you'll be able to enter the hospitals. Yeah, I don't think you'll be able to enter. But maybe it's the Midwest, other places, you may be able to go. You may not meet the PD, but at least you may be able to see the PC. I've been to programs, hospitals where they allowed me to the GMA office and I spoke with the program coordinator. Of course, I didn't see the program director. You would hardly see the program director. So it depends on where you are living. Give it a shot.
Yeah, in New York is a crazy place. It's you have a lot of drug addicts and all of
Yeah,
that. So
likely you will not enter in New York.
everybody is careful. All right. So I doubt. I mean, and you said demand to see. I don't think so in
No,
New
you
York.
can't demand. You
I
make
mean,
a
but
request.
you should try. Don't just don't depend your decision on what Pascal says or not. Just you should try at least. But I doubt. Just have it at the back of your mind that it might not work out.
Yeah.
But still try.
There's no harm.
The program coordinator, yeah. You could meet the program coordinator. You could. The thing is that you might not know who the program director is. All right. If you know who the program director is, you might wait for him outside the hospital and just all those
That's stalking.
gingered kind of thing. Yeah, but that would be stalking. But some
You
of
wait for
them,
them, they say you're stalking them.
no. Some of them are actually very free, easygoing people that you can just meet anywhere. And I think the program director of Lincoln is a very, chill guy that you can meet him anywhere and then you guys can discuss. My program director is a giant. Trust me, you'll be scared to even weed. Meeting him one on one is scary and you won't want to stop him on the way. But yeah, you could meet like I said, if you're in the US already, okay, you have parties coming up in December. All right. In December, the interview season is still open in December. All right. You could maybe if you know someone in that program, all right, anybody at all in that program. If you know any resident, that's fine. But you could go for those parties and meet the residents, meet the chiefs, all right, meet the program director sometimes goes for all those parties. Do you understand? You could send them emails, all right, and be like, you would like to meet in person and, discuss further how you think you're the best fit for this, stuff like that. But don't just, you could also try, to walk into hospitals but you need, in New York, my program, you need the the police department to clear you. All right. Even if you're a patient relative, you still need to get some form of badge to say, okay, yeah, just try. I would say try. Don't just, depend on your decision on what Pascal says. Okay. So still try. All right. What is the next question?
Is it important to go to the program's second look?
First look, second look. I don't really. I'm an IMG. Okay, so and I did everything I did from Nigeria. So I just wanted, like I said, my interests when I was applying or when I applied was just too much. All right, just to, of course, I ranked program according to my choice and interest. But at the end of the day, I just wanted to rank, and when I just wanted to match, and when I did, I was grateful. I matched. Okay, so of course you could do first if you're in the US. Explore every opportunity you have. First look, second look, and all of that. Yeah, so you could go for your second look.
I think somebody has their hand raised though.
Yeah.
So Laura.
Okay, hi. Thank you, Pascal.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that as an IMG,
Mhm.
when I was applying years ago, anything that could be done, I did it. Because the way it was in my head was, if God is making people to match because of this, he will say, okay, she did this, she let her match. So I tried my best to not leave any stone unturned, according to the English people. So if you are offered a second look, in my opinion, if it was me, I would go for, if they offer me third look, fourth look, if I can afford it. If you say it's in person and it's something that I can afford, I will go for it. Just what I would do.
Yeah, I agree with you. So anything. So in my head, then, like I said, I just wanted to match. All right. I just wanted to, run away from Nigeria. So I was ready to do it. But if you're in the US already, yeah, you have more opportunities to, you know.
Somebody asked me here, private message, what is the impact for step 3 when it's taken during the application season? Is there
Yes.
emphasis on the score when you pass it? For example, can a low step 3 score negatively impact your application if you do it during the application season?
So I was going to talk about step 3. I think I missed it in what I already talked about. Yeah. So step 3 is actually no, I don't think program care about step 3. They just want you to pass step 3 so that yeah. So if you're applying for fellowship now, maybe you're applying for, all those very competitive subspecialties like cardiology, and then they'll be like, okay, you scored high in your step 3. Programs don't really care about step 3. And I was going to say about the score, your score in step 3. And I was going to say that let's say you're planning to write step 3. You have not written step 3 and you're interviewing in a program, or you're having an interview. Please mention that you also, maybe when they ask, tell me about yourself, because you always have that question. Tell me about yourself. Mention that you're already preparing for your step 3. Step 3 gives you an edge, because no program director wants to be chasing residents around. You've not written your step 3, or you've written your step 3. No. So if you're already planning to write, mention it to whoever is interviewing you that you already applied and you're already preparing for your step 3. So another thing I was going to say is this. So during my own time, when after the interview, we had some like meet and greet and something like that. And then some people were saying, some of the chief residents then, they said that you shouldn't be doing anything now, that you should be relaxing. If you match, you have that was like in December or there about January. You have like 6 months from then to to start residency. So you should take all the rest that you can get now, because residency is difficult. Yeah, that is correct. But I actually relaxed, and I wouldn't want to say you should relax. All right. Because I was out of practice for some time. The program that provided sponsorship, we lived in, and we were just going for, we're not actively working. And you might think that there's a gap between having the knowledge and being actively in practice. Okay. And that could actually affect your efficiency, or affect you when you finally start residency. So I would say that after the interview season, which should be the focus right now, after the interview season, and then you match, or you're waiting to match, please continue to study. All right. Especially if you've not written step 3. All right. Continue to study. Continue to volunteer if you don't actively have a job, continue to volunteer at hospitals, just to have those skills. All right. Because it might actually affect you, and programs start evaluating you from the very first day you start working. They might be like, you're still an intern, so nobody expects you to do this. That's not true. Those evaluations will be in your profile, and it might actually affect you going forward. All right. So if at the end of the interview session, don't just relax. Even if you match, fine, congratulations, but don't relax. If you've written your step 3, please look for there are if you could lay hands on up to date, fine. Continue to study. If you can't lay your hands on up to date, that's also fine. Look for materials that you'll be reading while waiting to move to your program. All right. Yeah. Any other question?
Yeah. What is second look and third look?
Okay. Who was the other person that contributed the other time?
Dr. Laura?
Yeah. Okay, Dr. Laura, please tell us about.
Okay, hold on. Let me look for my. Okay, so sometimes after you get an interview invite and you finish interviewing, some programs go ahead to send emails to invite people to come again, not because they are coming to interview you, but remember, as you're looking for good programs are also looking for good candidates. So sometimes they see potential candidates that they think that they want, and they want to try to lure those candidates to their program. So they ask you to come again. Most times, second look is done in person, where you will get to talk with people. Like it's usually informal, but it's always the advice you go like business casual, but it's usually informal. You get to talk with residents, get to talk with attendants and other people that are in the program, so that as you make your decision, the idea is as you make your decision, you consider them highly. And because they invited you for a second look, it makes you feel like, oh, these people like me enough. Even though I feel, oh, now wash. You should still make your decision based on what you want, not based on all that. But most times when they invite you for a second look, it's because they have an interest in you.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Dr. Laura. So my program invited those, invited for some people last year, I think early this year, for second look. And I was one of the PGY ones that was asked to, answer questions and talk about the programs and all of that. And I want to say that, like Laura said, some of those things not really wash, okay? Because they're not gonna invite me to talk to prospective PGY ones about the programs, and I'll come and say the program is very bad, or the program, it's one that doesn't listen to the opinions of residents and all of that. Yeah, but the idea is, if anything at all, you could go for that. You could go for the second look, and you meet maybe one of the chief residents there who has not recommended anybody, and then you talk with the resident, the chief resident, and then boom, he or she decides to, put in good words for you. Because one thing is getting an interview, another thing is ranking. All right. You could get 15 interviews and you don't get a very good ranking, and boom, you don't match. Or maybe you match at the end of the day, but you might not match to your program of choice. All right. So even you might have all the interviews in the world. Don't relax and say, okay, this person has gotten me an interview, so I will stop disturbing the person. I will stop reaching out to the person. No, still let them know that it's also important to put in good words for you to rank. All right. So whether second look, whether third look, if you're in the US and you can afford traveling to those places for those events, yeah, I would advise you should go. You don't lose anything by going. Okay, you might go, and then you meet somebody there that will, or you might even meet the program director, and for some reason you might ask interesting questions. I mean, you don't know what they are looking out for. All right, my program might be looking out for step 2 score. Another program, if you have 220, they don't even care. They might not care. All right. And of course, this is for people who might, maybe they have low scores and they might lose hope in the whole thing. And so I know someone who had, like, he had, early 220, and he got one interview and he matched. All right. So you don't know what programs are looking out for. So whatever stone it is, please just turn it anyhow. All right. I think there's another question here. Short time.
Can you talk about your interview experience?
Yes. So this should be what we should be talking about, but my guy at the top just felt I should talk about other things. So interview. This is the in thing now, right? If you have an interview, I'll repeat. Please reach out to somebody in that program to guide you. All right. Um, so I was having interview section with some of my friends like 2 weeks ago, and one of them was referring, my program is Jacobi North Central Bronx. Okay, Jacobi North Central Bronx. So Jacobi is the parent hospital. My program is more like a smaller program or smaller hospital in the New York City Health and Hospitals. So the person in the interview, when we were having the prep or the practice, the person was referring to my program as Jacobi. Imagine that to be the main interview. All right, just imagine that to be the main interview, and maybe he's talking to the program director and referring to the program as Jacobi. That would have been a very, very bad interview. Okay, so I had to correct him. I had to, like, hey, bro, this thing not Central Bronx idea, no be Jacobi. And we had to go back and look at the program that sent him the interview, and it was not Central Bronx. So reach out to someone in that program. You might talk about research experience, and the program does not even care about research experience, or does not even have any research. Maybe the program is not big on research. You might be talking about fellowship opportunities in the program, and the program might not even. Maybe program might be a very small program that does not even have any fellowship. Does not have any fellowship at all. You might be saying that the attendings are, they are scholars and they are all that amazing at very whatever attending faculties and all of that, and the attendings might just be recent graduates. so they know when you're lying. So reach out to somebody in any program you're interviewing at. Please just try, okay? Now, during the main interview, I mean, you must have practiced. I believe everybody who has an interview must have practiced. It's a good number of programs don't have website, but those ones that have websites, go through the website. If there is any tiny thing there, the tiniest detail there that is mentioned on the website, please say. For instance, when I interviewed at South Brooklyn Health. And on the program website, somebody there was, there's this video there where one of the chief residents was talking about South Brooklyn Health being the closest hospital that provides care to um, like about 800 and something thousand population and all of that. And that was what I was talking about when they asked me why this program. So you want to say something that is unique with every program, and you don't want to sound generic. You don't want to sound, very conventional. Okay. So you must have, practiced the common, very, very common questions. Okay. The common questions that throughout my interview, they kept asking. I kept getting, tell me about yourself. Or everybody wants to know about yourself. The way it was only one person that kind of tweaked the question and asked, so Pascal, I've gone through your profile, amazing profile, even though I know it was not very, very amazing. But anyways, so is there, tell me something else that about you that is not in your application. All right. And it's the same way as asking, tell me about yourself. All right. So even though you're preparing for tell me about yourself, also prepare for any way they twist the question. All right. If you're prepared for tell me about yourself and they ask you tell me something else that is not on your application, just find a way. Remember the interview, it's they are looking out for a lot of things during the interview. All right. They want to know how smart you are. They want to know how you can handle pressure, like very difficult questions that seem difficult. They want to know how you're able to, navigate through how you're able to solve problems by navigating through questions like this. I mean, the person is saying the same thing. Okay. Now, another common question is, why did you choose this program? All right. So the person who you must have reached out to when you got the interview will guide you on that question. All right. If you get an interview in my program and you don't say the same thing as when you get an interview in, let's say, Monty, okay, why you choose my program, there are common things you should say, right? But I think if you get an interview or if you're interviewing at any New York program, the one of the most important things here is diversity. All right. And New York is that center where you have almost everybody from all over the world. All right. And this diverse population, what it does is that it exposes you to multiple pathologies. And so at the end of the day, you gain a lot of knowledge and skills and you're able to, then some people might be like, some people might want to talk about fellowship as the second thing. Fellowship is important, but you what will you doing fellowship contribute to the program? All right, because in as much as programs are looking out for candidates who they will create this platform for them to grow as physicians, they are also looking out for how you yourself will contribute to the program. All right. I don't think fellowship opportunity should be one of the reasons why you choose one of the major reasons why you choose a program. It will come as and as an extra reason at the end when you have mentioned like 2-3 solid reasons. It could come as an extra reason why you're choosing a program, but that should. Also, I think one of the other good reasons why you're choosing a program should be if you have a relative around. All right. If you have friends around, that should be another reason because these people will help you to settle in. You don't have to, stress over your first week would not be that difficult, and they will help you navigate the hurdles of settling in a new environment. I mean, this is basically for IMGs coming from outside the US. Another thing other thing that I've heard a lot of people mention during interview prep is support and mentorship. That is not very big. might not, I don't think that should be one of your 2-3 major reasons of choosing a program, because the truth is every program provides support and mentorship. All right, so is that the reason why I chose Jacobi, or is that the reason why I chose South Brooklyn? All right, or Maimonides. All right, so but if I have family, if I have a friend or I have a family member in Maimonides, then that should be a reason, and then every other thing that comes in. The other thing I heard people mention, I can't remember, but maybe if there's an interview section, then we can talk about that. Another important question is future goals. All right, program want to know if your future goal, if they can provide you with that platform to achieve your future goals. All right. So like I said, if you come and you in your tell me about yourself or your future goals, you're mentioning that you want to be a scholar, then my program might not be the best place for you. And the program director might be like, oh no, this guy, we might not be able to provide this guy with a platform that he needs to become that which he wants to become. All right. If you're very big on, if you're in your application, you mention volunteer services, you mention all those medical outreaches, then my program is a community program. Then the goals of my program of New York City Health and Hospital aligns with you. They might say, okay, this is the kind of person that this is the kind of person that the program will be able to provide whatever platform he or she needs to, break the gap in health delivery in on the South community or something like that. All right. If you have, I've also heard people. I've heard people mention, or some people are scared to mention about their other skills that is not medical. Maybe they have they are software developers, they have some application they've developed or something like that, or maybe they are musicians or something. If you have any talent or any other thing that is not medical, please let it be the number one thing that you're pushing. All right, because now we have when we have all those. So we just did Halloween, and there was this Halloween party, and then they had to start looking for people that will organize it. They had to start looking for people that will plan it, and some of the residents. I mean, some people tried to, some people. So anything at all that you are able to do. Let's say you know how to play music, you know how to play any instrument, you know how to do any other thing. Please let it be in. When they say, tell me about yourself, just mention it. It's important to mention all of those things because they want people who are very versatile. Another common question. So I didn't get a lot of behavioral questions. The one I got, I didn't do too well in that. So yeah, but common things first. All right, practice the common questions, and then from there. All right. Any other question? Hope this is not hanging.
I think that's all the questions. There's none for now, but Dr. Uba has his hands up. Please unmute yourself.
Hi guys, good evening or good afternoon or good morning, wherever. So thank you, Pascal, for your good job. Okay, so I just wanted to make one of few comments regarding some of the things that were said, especially going by my experience last cycle. One is the second look. I feel sometimes, yeah, in as much as it's more like a courtesy visit sometimes, but you also want to be careful that you don't shoot yourself at the foot. Because I know I did attend a couple of second looks last year, and if there was an advice I got from people was when you go there, be professional. Do it as if your lives depend on that. Don't go there and be so lax and probably put in some attitudes that will pick off some people. You could be ranked high prior to this second look, and you just put up some attitude or do some stuff, and they derank you immediately. So, in as much as it's informal, you gotta be careful, I would say. So, I just wanted to put that out there. It's not just a courtesy visit. It's not just in the program, but you also gotta be professional and in that. Then I'm just going to chime in with regards to some of the interview stuff Pascal was talking about. Excellent presentation, by the way. The point I will make is why this program, it's always a very important thing. And please reach out to programs, as he said. And I'll give you a few examples from my own personal experience. When I interviewed at Howard University, Washington, I reached out to through LinkedIn. I don't mind any of them there. So I just through LinkedIn, I met someone. I'm like, hey, guy, I got invited to your program. What's up? This, that. Okay. He kindly he responded, and we got talking and all of that. And he gave me a tip, and he was like, "Oh, in case you get your interview itineraries and my PD is the one interviewing you, just know he's going to ask you a question like, oh, Howard University, what is it iconic for in terms of location, right? So that is, and he said, if you answer that question, you get an extra mark, and he does that every year." I was like, "Oh, I didn't know this." So I just had to go look it up. Oh, that was the former ground of the Washington Senators baseball team. That's the former location of Griffith Stadium. So though I didn't meet the program director, but had it been I did meet the program director, that was a big up for me. So it's very important you reach out to people in that program. The other thing is, I also remember at Cal Foundation in Urbana, I reached out to Dr. Nelson on this group, and if there was one thing Nelson also told me, he told me about the importance of teamwork. And he said, look, my PD is going to ask you what you understand by teamwork. And he said he has his own perspective about teamwork. This is it, this is it, this is it. Approach it from this angle. And I got prepared, and he told me, oh, my PD doesn't smile, he doesn't whatever, he doesn't compliment whatever. He said he will just be stern, and I'm like, okay, fine, good. When I met the PD, he asked me that question. I was already prepared for it. Not just your teamwork, oh, I'm going to worry, but this time around, it's from the context of you got the physiotherapists, you got the OTs, you got the case managers, and everything, just from where he gave me the idea. And I deposited it because I was already prepared by that. And I got a reaction from the PD. I was like, oh, this is the best answer I've got from this work. And when I finished the interview, I went back to them and said, oh, look at what I got. And he was like, oh, if you like us, rank us. And my PD is obviously going to rank you if he has said that. So the essence of all of this, though, I finally didn't rank them high, but that's by the way. But the essence of what I'm saying is it's very important that you listen, you reach out to somebody in that program. He's going to give you one or two. If you're coming to my program, of course, what I would tell you is to go and practice the clinical questions. Because every other thing you're saying, once you meet the PD, every other thing you're saying, yeah, you got to put it up. But all he's interested is for you to answer the two clinical questions, give him the differential, manage the patient. So you will not know what case you're going to meet, but we can give you ideas, suggestions from, oh, this was what we got last year. That helps you prepare, gives you an idea on how to approach it when they posit such questions to you. So very important. You got to reach out to people. Just LinkedIn. My go-to was always LinkedIn, and it worked for me. You can use Twitter. You can use whatever works for you. For me, it was LinkedIn that worked for me. Then the other thing I'm going to say is very important. Being a PGY for I say 4 months and now gave me a perfect understanding why some of these questions have been asked during the interview. And for those of my group for the interview prep, they will tell you I always re-emphasize it. I will say any question you're asked, there is a reason that question was asked. So the question, what you should be asking yourself this time is that what do they want me to bring out? You're being asked. I was asked about a conflict question last year. How I'm gonna if I was running with my attending made a mistake and whatever, how do I solve this? Obviously, my mentor last year, Dr. Doyin, did a very good job. He already called that to our attention. So I already know that, oh, these guys don't want me to be confrontational. These guys don't want me to be judgmental. This guy wants me to deposit to solve this issue without sounding nasty or without sounding like as if you know too much or without opposing your PD. So he gave me an idea of how to approach it. So you just know that whatever question you're asked, they are not just asking you that question for asking sake. There is a reason. When they ask you something about teamwork, you will not appreciate it until you get into residency. For instance, you're finishing by. I've had situation where I'm going to finish by 5, and it's just let's say 2 minutes to 5. Oh, and you get a call from the MAR, and it was like, oh, yo, this is I want you to go see this thing. I'm not going to tell you, oh, I'm finishing in 2 minutes. I'll just, oh, fine, that's good. Go ahead and do it. So they want to know, are you somebody who is going to cause them problem? Are you somebody who's going to make them regret their decision or sort of? So, and again, I will tell those in my group, be careful the words you use. I've heard someone use something like, oh, I'm a high achiever. And I was like, high achiever, I don't know what you mean by that too, but your high achiever is relative. Someone else might see it and like, who is this arrogant person? And so careful of the words you use, be careful of how you deposit your answers. Just try to be professional. You will never go wrong when you talk about hobbies. I talked about hobbies last year in the program, in my program, and my interviewer, who was the chief resident, spent 10 minutes. We spent 10 minutes talking about football and female football and how he's not happy that the Brazilian female team is not doing well. We totally derailed from interview. And at the end of the day, it was like, oh, John, our time is almost gone. Okay, I guess I will see you. So that's what hobbies does. So you don't just be fixated on clinical stuff. Just like Pascal was saying about organizing. I do end my tell me about yourself. Last year we said, oh, I'm also good at organizing, and if for any reason the program want to organize an event, I'm more than happy to contribute. I don't tell you that we do it. I will contribute. So I'm not also pushing myself to you as if I know it all when I virtually know nothing. So be careful of your choice of word, be careful of what you deposit, and if you get second look, please treat it like an interview because you don't want to say something or do something that someone will look at you and was like, who is this human being? And they downgrade you. So and lastly, second look can come in form of in-person or virtual. I was in the US last year, so my second looks were all virtual. Just be careful with them. That's all I will say. Thank you, guys.
Okay, thank you very much, John. Yeah, I was at some point I was wondering that I know you were not in the US last year for second look or earlier this year, so I was like, when John come US for second look? Okay, thank you for clarifying that. Yeah, I think interviews are very important. Okay, it's one thing is getting an interview, second thing is having a very good interview. All right. Don't just relax and think you know everything, and maybe you've worked in Australia, or maybe you worked in Saudi and you had an interview there and they said you are the best candidate, and you think US is the same. That's not true. I know someone that was preparing an interview all by himself. So work with people, all right? The way I did it during my own time was that I have for every question I have like documents. I have like a sheet where I write the question and I write my reply. And the more I practice with groups, the more I practice with my friends, the more I also benefited from section like this on Joey's group. I just go back and I be like, wow, what this guy said makes so much sense, and then I'll add it to my own. All right. So don't just relax and say, I mean, if you're here, I'm sure you're doing that already, but don't just relax. Now, just to add to what John already said. So if you're preparing for a question, all right, learn to be flexible. I told you about how I was asked how somebody indirectly asked, tell me about yourself, all right? And I was able to, calmly answer that question. Don't just get fixed on, okay, tell me about yourself, we must come as tell me about yourself, or tell me about your how they ask the question, your positive side and your negative side, or how is it asked? I can't remember. But your positive attributes, somebody can help with that. I can't remember how they asked that question. But then I was asked.
You're talking about strengths and weaknesses.
God bless you. So strengths and weaknesses. So that it didn't come as tell me about your strengths and weaknesses. All right. It came as tell me one. That was my program now. My program director. I don't know. Maybe he had issues with me before the program. The interview was the most intense I had. So the question he asked me about strength and weakness was, number one was, tell me one thing, all right, that makes you different from every other candidate. All right. And I already prepared for strength and weakness. All right. So what I did was just my first point, the first point I had as my strength. That was what I told him. All right. And of course, I followed the point with an example of an event that happened. And then the follow-up question was, tell me three things that every resident, like three attributes that makes a resident a good resident. And then my other strengths and weaknesses, my other strengths, other points that I had as strengths, that was what I just told him. Do you understand? So keep an open mind. Don't just get fixed when you're preparing for these questions. Now, another thing I wanted to say is, at the only behavioral question that I got was that I think I messed up, and today I think that is the reason why I am not in South Brooklyn today. Is the program director at first was like, oh, okay, I've asked by the program director. He said he already went through my application, and he noticed that I finished from Nnamdi Azikiwe University. All right. And he was like, he has worked with people from Nnamdi Azikiwe, and they are always exceptional residents and all of that. And I guess I didn't know anybody in the program before then. So I guess just by being, finishing from Nnamdi Azikiwe got me that interview. And then we discussed, and then he pulled the only behavioral question, and he asked if that was my first interview. So he asked if my attending, if my attending recommends, or if I admit a patient in a unit, all right, and my attending recommends something. My attending said, okay, give this patient or treat this patient this way. But then I know, and I think that my own kind of treatment would be the best. That once I, start that patient up on that management protocol, that the patient is going home the next day, the patient is going to get off the bed and go home the next day. That what would I do? That was the question. That what would I do? And I, looking back, in fact, immediately after the interview, I knew I already messed up. All right. I didn't answer the question correctly. I was like, okay, at the end of the rounds, we'll go and meet him and tell him, hey, and, try to explain myself out. And then he kept asking, yeah, okay, that is okay, but what else will you do? And I was like, I will insist. And I think that word was not the best answer there. All right. And he was like, oh, when you insist, you don't give up. Be insisting on things, get things done. And, stuff like that. But already his countenance just showed that this guy has messed up. All right. So reach out to people. The system in Nigeria, it's completely, especially for those in Nigeria. All right. It's different from what we have here. My program, if an attending says, start the patient on ceftriaxone, and you know that, okay, ceftriaxone might not be the best. The patient might benefit from unison. Just start the patient on ceftriaxone, and maybe you can just chip in that you think that, you don't put it to the attending. So it's completely different somehow. All right? It's completely different. And another thing is, during the interview, refer to people as, I mean, this is just an extra, right? Don't refer to people as ma or sa, all right? Don't also refer to people as chief. When I came in, I was calling everybody chief because I thought I was somewhere in the pediatrics ward or internal medicine ward in Anambra State. I was calling everybody chief, and one of the attending warned me. He was like, "I'm not your chief. I mean, the chief are the chief residents, all right? So you might be calling some of your interviewers and referring to them as chief. Please don't. Just call them by their names, all right? Don't use ma or sir because you might be referring to a ma and the person is a sir, and you will have issues. Your interview, I mean, this thing is a very big thing here in Nigeria, all right? Even I also heard a story about a resident that lost his spots. I mean, the program just sacrificed him because he referred to a transgender as the other gender. Like he referred to a transgender male as ma. Good morning, ma. How are you feeling today? And I mean, the patient didn't take it lightly, and that was how the patient sued the hospital. And the hospital, they were like, okay, this guy, let this resident wait first. Let's sort this issue. And that was how he or she lost his problem. So you might get away with some things, during the interview prep or while practicing in Nigeria. Here, they're usually very sensitive things. There's actually a lot to talk about in interviewing questions and interviews, but what I would say is keep practicing. Again, I want to say, please reach out to people. If you reach out to some people and they don't reply you early, there's this thing I used to do then. So some of my friends then that matched and they were already practicing, and I would send them message and they won't reply. And I will be angry that this person now is feeling too big. This person does not have my time. See, it is you that you are the one who needs help. All right. So if you reach out to, so the person might be busy. All right. It gets very busy now. Then I used to tell some of my friends who are currently in PGY1, I used to tell them that, guy, are you busy? Or I've been on night and I've not had time to, even check my WhatsApp. That isn't a lie. All right. So if you reach out to someone and the person does not reply you early or reply immediately, please reach out to the person again. Okay? Reach out, keep reaching out to the person, because at the end of the day, it is you that needs help. I reached out to Endurance. So this is my own story. I like sharing my own story. I reached out to Endurance on LinkedIn because every single person, I've reached out to a couple of people and they be like, okay, I'm not. I reached out to, I don't know, people that even retired from cardiology. I reached out to them on LinkedIn. Some of them, a good number of the people, up to 10 to 15% of them said, there's this Nigerian that is also doing very well in cardiology. His name, and they recommended Endurance. And I reached out to Endurance, and I will reach out to him again. All right, because at the end of the day, it's just networking. Like you just need one recommendation and ranking and program to match. And when you match, you've matched. Okay. So please don't stop reaching out to people. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot to talk about in interview preparation, but I guess we don't have the time today.
Dr. Sisi has his hands up.
Okay.
Yeah, Dr. Sisi, please unmute yourself.
Yeah, hi, good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for your talk. I think I was just intrigued when you said the thing about the behavioral questions. I just wanted to, because I think everybody's on that trail. I think that's an important question. Like, I don't know, like, and not, I mean, I don't think I need to even put you on the spot, but I just wanted to just highlight that. I mean, you don't really know. I mean, from what you said, I don't know if what you said was bad. And the honest truth is, you really, I mean, unless you say something like very egregious or whatever, like you don't really know if what you're saying, the way they respond doesn't really mean like all that body language that they give you. Some of them can be real, some of them cannot be real. You really can never know, and you don't know why you didn't match them. Maybe you didn't match them because God wanted you to be in on that program, and it has nothing to do with that experience that you had. Trust me. I mean, and I say that from experiences. Sometimes the interviews that you feel like you bombed the most are the ones that you actually impressed the most, and the ones you think you did the best are the ones that you probably didn't even do good, but you never know this. So just don't take their face value for what it just, or rather take their face value for what it is, just face value. And I think for that question, like what you were saying, oh, in your program, you just start them on it. While that might be true, you also have to realize that, right? Like your number one, and that's what I think, and that's what I wanted to just bring up to everybody is your number one priority is to the patient, not to your attending. And that's the honest truth. And so just answering that question, if I was the one answering that question, like if I thought that what I would do would actually make like a huge difference, yes, I mean, and I know that what he's doing, and I will say to the whoever I'm talking to is that I need to make sure that whatever he told us to start, maybe is not harmful to the patient, right? Because if it's harmful to the patient, you should not start it. Period. It doesn't matter whether God told you to do it. God forgive me for that. I didn't mean it like that. So that's the first thing is do no harm, right? Now,
Mhm.
if that's out of the way, so it's not a harm thing, but you just have a better option and you have better clinical, you have the better clinical reasons why you think is a better option. The reason why I said it's not just okay to just start it is because if if the one thing you have to know is that, or what they want you to realize is two things. Is number one is you might not know what you think you know. That's number one. And number two, even if what you know is right, you have to do it in the ethical, proper way. But the proper way is not kissing the attendant's ass and just doing whatever he tells you to do. Is I would have said, first of all, I don't know as much as the attendant knows, so I would double check and check the guidelines to make sure that what I'm thinking or what I know is actually what is correct. If I verify and it is correct, and I'm sure that whatever the attendant is doing is not causing harm to the patient, then I will go back to the attendant and ask him why he chose that one over what I think is right, showing him the guidelines and how I had perceived or how I had gone through it, so that he can teach me. And in that avenue or in that medium, we can both, or I can learn. And if really, he made a mistake or whatever, then he will find out the guidelines. But the whole idea is they want you to just know that they don't want you to be scared of anybody. That's really what that question is. You're not scared of anybody. You should be respectful, but you should not be scared of nobody. And if you are doing something nice, but again, your allegiance lies with the patient, not the freaking attendant. And that's the honest truth. And they want you to know that if you need to escalate, you can actually escalate. That is what they want you to know. But then again, like you just have to say it in a way where I guess it's like an acting whole thing. You have to find a middle ground and find a way to say it. But I don't think what you said was wrong. If you think what you did was correct and it's really guideline proven, I mean, yes, maybe insist is not the best word, like you said, but standing on your ground and saying what you want to say, they want you to be open, they want you to be fearless, they want you to be respectful too. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I think you actually provided the answer to that question because so they want you to act. So one thing, let me just emphasize on what you already said. So one thing is most people here are not real. They are fake. All right. Most people here, the attitude towards you, it is fake. It is not real. All right. So you shouldn't just maybe feel bad about maybe somebody says wonderful answer. The person might just be let me finish this interview and leave this black guy or something. The person might even be a racist. All right. So thank you very much. I think it's eBay, right? I'm not sure. Yeah. So so the idea of that question is actually the way to answer that question, which you already did, is actually just seeing that as a platform to learn. Okay. Just because attendings have more experience, even if it's just a new attend like a recent grad. The person definitely has more experience more than you, and you're a PGY1, you're an intern. All right. You might be a professor, you're a professor of whatever, internal medicine in your country, and you come here and the guideline on treatment of a particular disease or whatever has changed. I mean, guidelines change every time, right? And the attending will like tell you do this, and you shouldn't like come off like, yes, you know more than the attending, even though you might know more than the attending. All right. It might actually be the way this particular thing is being treated in this environment or something like that. All right. So the best way to answer that question is you could go back to, you do whatever they say you should do first, if it's not going to cause harm, of course. And then at the end of the day, meet the attending and use that as an opportunity to learn. Okay. It's just an opportunity to learn. I mean, I said I was going to insist, even if the attending tells me to just go ahead and do it. And I didn't feel that was a good one at all. Okay. He was like, okay. And that was it. All right. So I think you just say it in such a way where, the attending is more experienced, you're just an intern. You would, if, like eBay said, you know the guideline, you have access to up to date. The guideline has changed that the attending might not know that, but also know that the some attendings might not be that flexible. All right, they might see it as you're being rude. All right, so I wouldn't say you should do that to every attending. If the person is a young person and the person is open to stuff like that, you can go to their office and talk to them, and they can, of course, educate you on why they think that should be the case, right? You might actually be missing something as an intern. So I don't know the person you do that thing to. I mean, this is after matching and all of that. But yeah, just know who you're going to do that to. But the way to address that question is actually to see it as an opportunity to learn because the attending is more experienced. Okay. Yeah, any other question?
Yes, we have Dr. Ajayi raising their hand. Please unmute yourself.
Okay.
Hi, my name is David Ajayi. Thank you, Pascal. It was a great presentation today. And everyone that has been contributing is fantastic. I just want to piggyback on what C said, the first part of his conversation. I think it's very important for us to, let me put that out. When you're doing interviews, right, it's hard to read the body language of the person interviewing you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to speak from personal experience. Next week, I'm the one speaking next week. I'm the one giving my stuff next week. Let me just say, but I'm going to give personal experience now, today, right? A couple of years, from some years backwards, when I was a chief resident in a preventive medicine residency program, we were two of us, right? So the program director, two chief residents, I was one of them, right? We had 5 people, we were interviewing 5 people, right? The guy that eventually got one of the spots, that guy, in the interview, because the way we did the interview was, so it's good to have been interviewed and it's good to have interviewed people. So I'm telling you, now I'm giving you an angle from the person who interviews people, right?
Okay.
So the funny thing about the guy, he's originally from Puerto Rico, right? That's the guy who got that spot. Of the 3 of us, right? When he finally came into the program and I was talking to him, he was telling me that he felt my interview with him was the worst. Like literally, he thought it was not going to rank us, blah blah blah, and all that. He did not know that when we now met, like when he left, when all the 5 candidates left, and we met to actually score them, right, with the program director, the 2 chiefs and the program director. I was the one advocating for him. He did not know that. So imagine he didn't answer my question well, but I still advocated for him. That's how you know how the human behavior is very hard to read, right? And I advocated for him till today. He will never know. I mean, he's an occupational. I think he's the occupational medicine director at Emory University right now in Atlanta. But that is just to tell you that people do not know what's going to happen to them. You can't read the body language. I just want to say one more thing. I'm going to leave all my stuff to next week. For those people that are going through the match right now, that are going through applications and all that, I summarize it in three phases. There's during the phase, and there's after the. So before you apply, during the application, and during the interviews, and then when you rank the program, right? When you're ranking the programs, if you have no interviews, there's no ranking, right? That is correct. Now, if you have one interview, and Pascal is correct, all you need is one interview, just one shot, and you can get in. I mean, I'm a living testimony to that. That all you need for both for fellowship, for residency, all you need is one shot. Both times I had just one interview for residency, one interview for fellowship. You don't need more than one actually. If you know what you're, if you do your homework well. But where I'm going with this conversation is this. Recently, so this is last year, 2024, I had a guy from the University of North Dakota, UND. He came to rotate with me in my stuff, final year M4, right? He came to rotate with me. This was after the match. During the match was when he rotated with me. So on March, the day of the match, he was in my unit, in my department, rotating with me. He's not an IMG. He's actually born here, raised here, schooled here, and all that. So the belief was I saw him on Monday, the match week, and I asked him, I was like, hey, Wang, I called him, Wang, hey, so where are you? He wanted to do interventional radiology, right? This is a true story. Now, I asked him, I was like, okay, so where did you match? The guy told me he did not match. Now, this guy had 12 interviews, 12 interviews, 12 interviews, and he did not match. He ranked out of those 12 interviews, he ranked 9 of them. So I was surprised. This guy has very good scores, he has no issues, no immigration issues, nothing, right? So I was like, what is happening? He went into the SOAP eventually, he was not happy. He went to the SOAP and he finally got something in North Carolina, like a transitional year. But then when I asked him on Thursday, I said, have you gone back to know why you did not match? The answer he gave me, I'm going to tell you guys that this is one of the things. Out of those 9 interviews he had, one of them was at the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, right? And that program ranked him high because the program director of our interventional radiology at Mayo Rochester called this guy to say, hey, I didn't see your name in the stuff. What happened? The guy actually thought he ranked Mayo Clinic in Rochester. Unfortunately for him, he ranked the Mayo Clinic in Phoenix, Arizona. He didn't rank when he was choosing he missed, so there are 3 Mayo Clinics, right? There's Mayo Clinic in Rochester, in Jacksonville, and in Florida, and then in Phoenix, Arizona. He chose the wrong one when he was actually trying to rank. And because he chose the wrong one, he chose a place where he didn't even, I don't even know how he did it. But then that was why he didn't. So basically, where I'm going to is you can have a good package. You can have reasonable, pretty much solid interviews. But if you do not rank well, it's not over until it's over. If you do not rank well, you can actually miss out. How can you have 12 interviews, 9 very good scores, you didn't rank just because you chose the wrong program when you are ranking? This is how it comes down to that. People should pay attention to details. The devil is always in the details until you actually match. And Pascal, I think you said this earlier on. Even after you match, when you start the program, whether it's residency or fellowship, you are being judged until you graduate. It doesn't end. It never really ends. Even as an attending, it does not end. Even if you're a department chair, division chair, it does not end. The game keeps going on. It's ongoing. I mean, let me just stop here. We'll talk later. But yeah, I'm just happy that this is going on, and people should just know that you should pay attention to details. Don't leave any stone unturned. Do not leave any stone unturned. You are wooing every time you're getting to be interviewed, right? You must have done your homework to the point as if you're trying to woo a lady. So you must know what she likes, what she doesn't like. That's how you approach a program. You approach the program. If you know the program director, like what you were saying about people that told you about the program, that these are the questions they will ask you, right? If you go to this one, I don't know if it's you, Pascal, or someone else that said, if you go Howard University, I think it's someone that said I went with Howard University in DC, that they told them that this is what the program director is going to ask you, right? That is part of the work you do besides networking, is you do your homework. And if you've not done your homework, somehow during the interview it's going to become obvious.
Yeah, I agree with you. Thank you very much, David. You're already vibrating from now, vibrating for like 1 week. Thank you. Thank you, David. So guys, it is very important, please. It's very important you know the program you're interviewing at. Know somebody reached out to me this morning and said he will be interviewing at my program on Thursday. And I know the names. He already sent me the names of people that will be interviewing him. And one of those persons is the APD is my mentor, because in my program we have this resident faculty mentorship kind of thing. She is my mentor and I know her very well. Like, I've met her a couple of times on professional level, like professional ground, on mentorship, mentee grounds. All right. So I know her. So I can tell him that, hey, this is what you should say. All right. And something else that I think I didn't mention is, so for instance, if now that candidate will be interviewing with my mentor, all right, he can comfortably mention my name and say, I know Pascal, and something like that. Or when they ask him what about why this program, he can say, okay, why I was researching programs and all of that. I reached out to Pascal and because I was confused, and he strongly recommended that I apply at North Central Bronx. All right. Now, if he mentions that to my mentor, who will be interviewing him on Thursday, that could be a plus to him. All right. There might be another attending that is not cool with Pascal. And maybe if you don't know about that, you might think, okay, I know Pascal there. But maybe attending A doesn't like Pascal for any reason. All right. And you don't reach out to Pascal to say, hey, Pascal, I got an interview in your program and please, I need your guidance. And you just go and mention Pascal's name. That might be a very, 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 you might be very disadvantaged with that. All right. So please reach out, make sure you reach out to somebody. All right. It mustn't even be, if you're an IMG, you mustn't even reach out to the Black residents in the program. You can reach out to anybody. All right. When I interviewed at I didn't finally reach out to him, but yeah, reach out to anybody you can reach out to. Here on Joey's group, if you don't know anybody in any program you're interviewing at, you can put it on Joey's group. Joey or any of the whoever might know somebody that knows somebody in that program. All right. I've had people who say, Pascal, they get one of my friend, we get him brother, we get him friend, we get interview for my program. Something like that. You mustn't know someone in that program, but you might know somebody that knows somebody. It is very, 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 very important. Okay. Yeah. So I think there's a question. How do you get added to the? So I will leave the host or the management of the group to answer that question. All right.
Which group are you talking about?
I think the person is talking about Joey's group.
If they're not on Joey's group, they wouldn't be in this meeting because this meeting link is only posted in there. I mean, you need to clarify. Do you mean like the interview group or the actual group? Like just send a message. I don't understand.
Okay. Any other? Interview.
Dr. Uba, Dr. John, do you still have something to say? Your hand is raised up.
Yeah, sorry. I just wanted to make one very important point. Pascal, that's very correct. If you mention people in some programs, that could be a leeway. But please be careful. Not all programs appreciate you mentioning their residents. So you have to also do your homework in finding out if this program will actually appreciate if I mention this person. For instance, when I interviewed at Monty Wakefield campus, Dr. Kajita doesn't.
Come on, haven't I told you before?
So Dr. Kajita doesn't take any form of recommendations or I know this person, I know this whoever. So you can just try and reframe from that. Like I know there was a Nigerian there who I reached out to, and just like the importance of doing your homework, and he told me, yeah, play silence. If they ask you, do you know anybody? No. Even at the end of the interview, she will always tell you, don't send us a thank you message, no form of communication, whatever. So just be sure that the program you're interviewing is a program that actually fancies people mentioning residents they know. So you don't go and mention and it becomes that it's probably a program that frowns at it and you end up shooting yourself on the foot. I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, so I interviewed at a program where the guy I reached out to get information about the program, he was almost sent out from the program for some reason, which he didn't tell me. All right. So the program had issues with him or the program director or something, and they almost chased him out of the program. All right. So he warned me not to mention his name. So imagine that imagine an interview with the program director, and I say, I know that guy, and he has been my mentor. He has been my mentor for years. They're gonna say, "Oh, this guy that gave us trouble is your mentor. You're going to give us trouble," and most likely that will be the end of the interview. Okay, so please just ask people if it's okay to mention their names. All right. Any other question? I think the whole interview there should be like interview. This is not an interview. Like this is just extra point about interview. So there's a lot to actually talk about interviews. So, but I'll leave it maybe for the next guest or something to talk about. All right.
Dr. Laura, please unmute yourself.
Okay, I just wanted to say that for those of us that don't have interviews yet, it's not over, number one. Secondly, send out your letters of interest or intent, whatever you decide to call it. But just know that even if you don't get a response, most PDs really don't respond to those letters, but they see it. So whatever letter you are sending, make it concise, sweet, and straight to the point. Don't go beating about the bush and make it too long, or don't make it so short that it really has nothing that will make a PD decide to go take a look at your application. I got a lot of interviews from letter of interest. So that's why I like to talk about it, because I feel it helps. So don't give up. Send out your letters of interest. Don't expect response. If you get a response, that would be a pleasant surprise. But don't expect a response from people you send these letters to. But hopefully you get an interview. Why me? I believe that my letters of interest got me interviews is because I never got response from any of them. In fact, I got response from only one PD that never sent me an interview. The PD said, I'll take a look at your application. I never heard from that person again. But the people that did not send me any response, a few days, a few weeks, I got interviews from those programs. So not getting a response does not mean that they did not see your letter. Thank you.
Oh yes, that's very correct. That's very correct. And even if you don't get an interview, that's not the end of the whole thing. Like I said earlier, you will still have soap. Continue to reach out to people. Somebody might pull out, and I mean, if you're in the US, so recently after the PGY one started, I think two people were not able to resume in my program, and my program had to like replace them after 1 month. All right. If you're in the US, that could be an advantage. If you have a green card, that could also be an advantage, because at that point my program was just looking out for people with green cards. And I also know somebody who didn't match earlier, and then in some other programs, they just called that to come and resume because somebody could not resume, or somebody could not start for visa issues or something. Okay, so it's not over. If you don't have an interview yet, that's fine. Don't just relax and say the season is over. No, continue to send those messages. Continue to reach out to people, whether they reply you or they don't reply you. It's fine. Just send out messages, continue to reach out to program directors, continue to reach out to program coordinators. Also reach out to the chief residents, okay? Reach out to the chief residents. Those ones are more likely a representative of the program director himself, all right? Please, do you have to attach? No, you don't need to attach your ERAS CV to anything, okay? Like Laura said, you just send a concise message. At the end, put your ID, put your name. That's enough. Or maybe if you have your step 2 score, if you have a very good step 2 score, like you could add it. That could make a program director be like, oh, who's this guy or who's this lady with this score? Or maybe we've not given him or her an interview. Okay, let's try and give out. Do you know something like that? You don't need to attach hello CV. No, please, no need to attach your CV. If they see your score, they might just, that is what I think. Somebody might actually recommend a different thing. Okay.
I would say your letter of interest should have Just sell yourself everything positive. So, for example, your step 2 score is 230. 230 is not a bad score, but obviously 260 is better than 230. But you have 230 and you're ECFMG certified. Every program would rather interview somebody that is ECFMG certified than someone that has a step 1 of 270 and is yet to do step 2. So when you're writing a lot of interest, you will say, hello, I'm so and so person. I am an ECFMG certified permanent resident with previous anesthesia. Okay, I did anesthesia. So maybe you can say with previous internal medicine experience. That is letting the person know. The person will be like, what does this person mean by previous? So that will make them to call you to know that, okay, this person that is ECFMG certified has previous experience, may be a good fit for us, especially community programs. For community programs, like people with experience. University programs, sometimes they are focused on, young grads, people that just finished school and all that. So anything positive. If you're a US citizen, you put it in there. If you are someone that you can say I'm an ECFMG certified US citizen currently working with a US doctor in Mayo Clinic, for example. Or you don't have to put the clinic, but you can just, anything that will be a positive for you. You put into that letter, but you don't have to go to town to write everything about you because it gets boring.
Yeah. So you don't need to attach your CV, please. If you have step 3, or if your step 3 is pending, put step 3 pending or in view or something like that. If like Laura said, you have your visa not requiring, put it there. You're not requiring visa. Do you understand? Any extra thing, but you don't need to attach your CV, please. It's not. I don't think so. You don't need to attach it. All right. Any other question? Yeah.
If I get an invite from sending LOI, should I reach out to the PD to thank him, even if he didn't respond to me initially, like a formal thank you so much, I received an invite, so kind of email?
Yeah, I mean that is also fine. That is just fine. It doesn't add. I don't think it adds or removes anything from you. So you could always go ahead and like show appreciation. It could be a very good trait on your side, or you could add it as +1. All right. So, but don't make it too much. Just thank you. I received an invite. I'm looking forward to meeting you during the interview or during the meet and greet or something like that. Just straightforward and then boom. Okay. Yeah.
I think that's the last question. We are 12 minutes above the top of the hour. Any other last comments, questions, contribution before we call it a night?
Yeah, let me just add one more thing. It's important to, because I've done interview prep with some people, and the info, they have the points they want to make, but it's all over the place. All right, something like why this program? All right, I would say that learn to number your whatever you want to say. All right. You can use firstly, firstly this. Secondly, you must not say number 1, number 2, and all of that. So I mean, these people are very busy people. Whether they are interviewing you or not, they still have their own duties or responsibilities to discharge. Okay. For instance, the person I talked about my program, my mentor, she's the primary care director, and or the previous primary care, but she still has a whole lot of responsibilities to do, and she still has to see patients that have in the morning and in the afternoon during the clinic, and she might be tired and sleep off. All right. And if you're just saying multiple things everywhere, your points are just everywhere, it might be difficult to follow. A person might sleep off and wake up and he or she does not even know where you are, whatever you're saying. But if you learn to number, and for instance, I am interviewing you and I sleep off, and then I wake up and you're saying, secondly, this, I know, okay, you've made a first point that I might be forced to listen to this one. All right. Also, your future goals is another very common question. I don't know if I mentioned it earlier. So your future goals, you could learn to divide it into short-term and long-term, and then you could also have like professional and personal goals. So you don't just say a whole lot of things that does not make sense. All right. Yeah. That's it. Any other question?
Any other questions, comments, contributions? I'll take that as a no. Thank you so much, Dr. Pascal, for your time today. I mean, these were very practical suggestions and advice you give, straight from the as real life practical nuggets. So that aspect of you have nothing to lose if you don't have an interview yet. Just send them those letters, and you never can tell, even though there are no replies coming forth. They may be saying it, and one day just go and pull up one. So yeah, thank you. So I think this was a very impactful session. And thank you to all the contributors, the seniors, Dr. Laura, Dr. Sisi, Dr. Ubar. Thank you for contributing. I wish you all a good rest of your weekend. Please, let's leave your appreciation, the words of appreciation in the comment section.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Pascal. I said I couldn't join.
My boss.
We're at the end of the O1 so I'm trying to clip the craze. But once again, just showing face, say thank you so much.
You're welcome. Boss, you should have like maybe another group for people who are planning to apply for fellowship, so that we can disturb you and keep disturbing you.
Absolutely. Which one are you applying to?
I'll be applying for cardiology.
Oh, cardio, yeah, there's a group. I'll add it to the group then.
Boss, please now, I beg. Add me. All right, thank you very much for this
opportunity. You're already a cardio already.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. Thanks. Thank you for all you do. All right, Taiwo. Have an amazing night.
Thank you so much. It was a great session.
Thank you.